I'm in the big league now.
4 none, Jeremy. 4? That's insane.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're taking a look at all the best moments from your favourite modern British comedy series. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. First up, here's Come Fly With Me.
Who's a handsome wee fella? Look at you, eh? I just need to put him in the overhead locker.
Number 10, Mrs. Woolf.
I love looking after the elderly. I love hearing their stories, I love hearing about the old days. And if you spend enough time with old people, you do eventually get used to the smell.
Mrs. Woolf has never flown before, and it was Moses' job to give her the airport experience of a lifetime. She was going to see her grandson who, as she was keen to point out, is a doctor, so she thought it would be nice to buy him a couple of gifts.
Do you need anything from duty free?
Yes, I'd like to buy a birthday present for my grandson Jonathan. He will be 12 on Tuesday.
Oh, how lovely. What would you like to get him?
200 Lambert and Butler.
The problem is that she doesn't carry cash, so Moses, being the good guy he is, offered to buy them as long as she pays him back. However, with gifts of alcohol and cigarettes, he wondered who they were actually for.
Oh, I would also like to buy him 2 bottles of Bell's whiskey.
Right.
Large!
After she persuaded Moses to upgrade to first class with his own money, she dropped a massive truth bomb just as she was boarding the plane.
I just remembered. I have actually flown before. Many times. Goodbye.
If I ever see that woman again, I will kick her in the face.
Number 9, The Affair.
He had an affair. He had an affair with one of the stewardesses.
It wasn't an affair, it was a one-night thing.
Well, that makes it worse.
I think we all know of someone in a tricky relationship, but maybe none are quite like Simon and Jackie. Simon is a pilot for Flylow who recently had an affair with a stewardess on a flight. While most partners would either divorce or have a massive row, Jackie decided to take a different approach and learn to be a pilot herself so she can keep tabs on her husband at all times.
You went to the toilet over Norway.
That was over an hour ago.
Who are you going to be talking to, Simon? Who are you going to be screwing in the toilet?
Whilst there was always a tense atmosphere during the flights together, it came to a boiling point when the same stewardess that Simon had an affair with was on their flight.
Our cabin crew on board today will be happy to help you in any way they can, especially Sally Wicks, who will get down on her knees to help you. Just don't leave her alone with your husbands, ladies, because Sally Wicks is nothing more than a trollop.
It's safe to say Jackie didn't cope with it well.
She's the slutty slut of the skies!
Number 8, Steward Gone Nuts.
But if you want to win Steward of the Year, it doesn't really help if you've done something brave or heroic. Like last year's winner, Seamus O'Shaughnessy, he delivered a baby on board, so fingers crossed one of my passengers will have a heart attack or something.
Fergal was desperate to win the Steward of the Year awards, meaning he would go to extreme lengths for the passengers. Sometimes he would tailor in-flight meals according to the destination, or calm a child down by giving her a cuddly toy, but sometimes he would go the extra mile.
What would happen if you were to have a nut?
Well, my throat would swell up and I'd be unable to breathe. In fact, I have to carry one of these EpiPens so people can inject me.
The judges love to see heroism, and the best way to demonstrate that is by causing a scene. So after learning a passenger had a nut allergy, Fergal decided this would be a great opportunity to test that out.
It's gonna be okay! It's gonna be okay! It's gonna be okay!
After the gentleman had passed out, Fergal rushed onto the scene and became a hero.
Having said that, obviously, if they did offer me an award, I would turn up and accept it.
Number 7, Common First Classers.
We had a Welsh gentleman travelling with us this morning, and as a precaution, I had the entire first-class cabin deloused.
If you saw Penny at the Queen's annual garden party, she wouldn't look or sound out of place. Her job is to look after the first-class passengers and give them a grand old time. So, can you imagine her horror when a happy working-class couple have tickets to her first-class territory?
We're travelling first class.
Let me see your boarding passes.
Our son bought us the tickets for our 40th wedding anniversary.
Have you travelled first class before?
No.
I don't think you'd like it in there.
After trying to direct them away from her paradise, she quickly realizes that these people are actually going to be within close proximity with her.
Look at her. Disgusting little piggy. Oh, look at him.
Penny then loses the plot and proceeds to threaten the couple and ends up having them kicked off the plane, probably for being too normal.
Unfortunately, I had no option but to have those two passengers ejected from the plane.
Number 6, Princess Anne. As we've just established, it's pretty hard to out-posh Penny. However, Princess Anne's advisor may just edge her out.
And that should give you sufficient time to completely repaint and recarpet the cabin.
The People's Princess was due to fly with Flylow, so the palace sent someone over to check if the facilities were up to scratch and that the menu had everything one could possibly want. However, it wasn't that straightforward. Penny stumbles across a number of hurdles, one being the interior, but the most challenging one being the selection of fruits, which is a problem area for the princess.
Princess Royal does not eat grapes.
Strawberries?
No.
Kiwi?
No.
Orange?
No.
Guava?
No.
Lychee?
No.
Sadly for Penny, all this hard work would be for nothing, as she wasn't allowed on the flight.
In fact, I shall make a personal request that you're not on the flight. Good day.
Number 5, David Schwimmer's Collection.
Have you watched any of these films?
I have, and I found it absolutely disgusting.
Friends star David Schwimmer has had little on-screen time since the show died in 2004, which begs the question of what he does with his spare time. This was answered when, after getting off a Flylow plane, some custom officers found some suspicious videos.
Well, this is very difficult for me because I don't want to get someone else in trouble. But they're actually a present for a friend.
Which friend?
Matt LeBlanc.
The videos turned out to be illegal, which led David throwing a friend under the bus, Matt LeBlanc. After churning out an impressive lie, he tried to leave with the videos, which didn't impress the officers and caused David to throw yet another friend under the same bus.
You guys are doing an excellent job here, and I really appreciate it.
Sit down, sir.
They're for Jennifer Aniston.
Number 4, Mustache Gate.
Do you understand why you are here?
Yes, I speak perfect English.
Everyone knows someone like Ian Foote. He is the immigration officer at Flylow and takes his job seriously. However, sometimes his prejudices and ignorance get in the way of that. A Frenchman has just got off the plane and been sent to Ian, but he is suspicious that the passport photo isn't representative of the man in question.
That is not the only difference.
What else is there?
The shirt is different.
Yes, I was wearing a different shirt.
The reason? The absence of a mustache. The man was quite frankly bemused and started to get agitated with some more observations from Ian.
In the photograph, the gentleman clearly has a moustache, but you just look like you've had one drawn on with a pen.
Thankfully, the two came to an agreement that the former mustache owner should be let off with a warning.
But Ian decided not to allow him into the country, as he was French.
Number 3, Custom Officers. Custom officers are some of the most important workers at an airport. However, just like everyone, they can sometimes get distracted at their own place of work. After stopping a man for carrying drugs, the job of the officers was to check what drugs have been smuggled in.
Is identify and catalogue the substances found in the gentleman's suitcase. Yeah, I believe this substance is either cocaine or amphetamine.
Usually, this process is a formality, with the culprit being taken to jail. However, these officers are a little more laid back with their approach. They needed to triple-check certain substances just to be sure, which definitely lightened the mood, and when we checked back in on them, the offender was let off the hook thanks to a deep chat with the officers.
Sorry we stopped you, just try not to get in any trouble again, yeah?
Number 2, would you like a life jacket?
I will not let you down, Mr. God.
Omar Babar is an astute businessman who is always on the lookout for money-making opportunities. However, with Flylow being a low-budget airline, bad press is never a million miles away.
This is life jacket. This is
life jacket. This it. Life jacket. This it. Life jacket soon.
So when reports are published about there being no passenger airbags on flight, Omar decides to crush this rumor with a video demonstrating how, in an emergency, passengers do indeed have a life jacket.
Do you want to purchase life jacket? Yes. Swipe card and enter PIN. Okay. Would you like priority disembarkation? Yes.
All seemed well until he showed us all how you gain access to one. Much like all of his harebrained schemes, Omar had taken this opportunity to make a bit of money.
Life jacket is now mine for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, it deflates automatically, and I simply swim back into plane and pay for more.
Number 1, dog dead.
Her King Charles Spaniel Coco was travelling in the hold. We had a heating malfunction and he froze solid. I've just seen him. He's like a giant dog lolly.
Moses will go to extreme lengths to make his VIPs feel at home and does consider himself as one of the best in the business. However, even the best can struggle at times. After gaining word from his colleague that a passenger's dog had died thanks to a freezer malfunction, Moses deliberated on how to break the news to the woman who was unaware of the incident.
Everything is fine.
How's Coco?
Fine. Fine.
After being unable to deliver the crushing news in person, Moses decides to use his initiative and tell her just as the plane was taking off, leaving her in absolute shock. Next, we're taking a look at Friday night dinner.
Can I just say, this might be the greatest night of my entire life.
Number 10, company car.
Oh, yes, your news.
Yes, my news.
Johnny's an estate agent and has been given a flash company car to drive clients around in.
Liz was so happy with my work, she gave me a company car.
Though he's excited about the car and proud of moving up in the company, this quickly turns to embarrassment when the rest of the family join him in the garden and see what it is, a novelty car with a fake roof on it, just in case there was any doubt about what his proper job was.
Say it. Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
As always, Adam is quick to poke fun, but Martin can't believe his eyes either, and suggests that the only reason Johnny has the car is that his employers secretly hate him.
Is that your new company car then?
You know it is.
Do they not like you there?
Luckily, the car gets stolen at the end of the episode. Number 9, is he Hitler?
Hello, Mr. Morris.
Your bloody house just broke my light.
He wasn't in many episodes, but one of the show's most memorable characters is definitely Mr. Morris, Grandma's 82-year-old boyfriend.
Is he having a real...
Mr. Morris?
Mum! Don't worry, he always does this.
That's how it feels.
His first appearance has no shortage of iconic moments, from faking a heart attack to forcing the boys to go with him while he buys prophylactics from a corner shop. All these antics leave Adam and Johnny pondering one question in particular. Is Mr. Morris actually Hitler?
He looked like Hitler. It's not Hitler, is it?
This is prompted when Jim comes to the house and points out how much Mr. Morris looks like Hitler, what with the moustache and his authoritarian attitude. This isn't great for the family considering they're all Jewish.
Oh, your top's come off, has it? You want some as well, do you? Right!
Mr. Morris? Hello.
Come on! Pull him up!
Mr. Morris?
Number 8, Johnny's tattoo.
Hold on a minute. Oh! You're such a turd!
All evening, Johnny's acting like he's hiding something while nursing his right arm. We quickly find out that what he's been protecting is his brand new tattoo, and not a great one at that.
Don't tell Mum. Sorry, we were just...
Johnny's got a tattoo.
What?
You shit! Ow! Oh!
Immediately, Adam spills the beans to their parents, and Jackie forces Johnny to take off his jumper so that everyone can see it. It's a poorly drawn skull with red hair and a message in Latin, which Adam quickly translates as saying, "Live fast, die young." not family comes first, as Johnny told Jackie.
Jonathan wants to die young. Does he? Yes, he wants to die young. Tell him.
You're not to die young.
God, I hate you all!
Jackie's furious about what he's done, and when the tattoo turns out to be so awful regardless, who can blame her? Number 7, Salt.
Wait a minute. I know what you've done. What? Haha.
Oh! You bastard! One of the most popular running jokes is that the boys are constantly putting salt in each other's drinks, but this comes back to bite them as early as the first episode. Adam believes he'll have the last laugh when he pours salt directly into Johnny's mug, so that the salt will already be in there if he uses it.
You better not be doing anything in there. Sorry?
But things go awry when a man arrives to collect the sofa bed. The sofa bed is for his ill father, and then he finds out his father has died.
Sorry.
What's he say?
There was salt in his tea.
Salt?
Is this water?
I think so.
I put salt in his tea.
They give him a cup of tea and a glass of water that both turn out to be full of salt.
Why would you do that? Why have you put salt in everything? My father's just died, and you're just putting salt in everything.
Number 6, Jim comes for dinner. Instead of constantly interrupting, Jim's finally been invited for Friday night dinner. Things start off on a predictably weird note, with Jim constantly telling everyone shalom and gifting Jackie a model zebra.
Oh, thanks, Jim.
It was my auntie's.
Oh.
She had it by her deathbed.
Then he pulls out a homemade yarmulke he's cut out of his own shirt and smashes a plate against the wall. Dinner gets even more chaotic when he finds a live mouse on his plate, much to Jackie's horror.
Mouse.
And ends when Jim accidentally throws an entire can of red paint over himself and the living room.
Here, let me just move this out of the way for you.
Oh, be careful!
Jim's attempts to be politically correct go hilariously wrong. Number 5, car radio. Adam's a musician and has written a jingle to be used in a radio ad for car insurance. When it's time to listen, they can't find a single working radio in the house, except for a duck-shaped one, and have to go sit outside in the car to tune in.
I'm not listening to it on that.
Why not?
Because it's a duck.
It's not a duck.
It's a radio. Or we're just going to have to listen in the car.
But they accidentally put music on full blast, deafening themselves, while Jim stares at them from the doorstep until they're forced to listen on the duck anyway.
Now, how do I get this bloody radio? Oh my God, that was the loudest thing I've ever...
Unfortunately for Adam, the ad is a resounding disappointment regardless. Most of his composition is cut out, leaving only 3 notes, and he's upset for the rest of the night.
0000. That's
Where's all my music?
570000.
Is it good?
Number 4, Coffin.
Oh, bad luck, Dad.
Might as well be carrying a bus. I don't know why you're laughing. You're carrying it with me.
What?
The Goodmans are attending the funeral of their Uncle Sol, and Adam and Johnny have been enlisted as pallbearers, which they're not particularly pleased about. They mutually swear that they'll never carry another coffin, which puts Jackie in a bad mood when they say that this includes her coffin at her funeral.
Okay, we'll carry his coffin, but that is the last coffin we ever carry.
What?
Yeah, the last one.
Apart from mine, obviously.
She kicks up a fuss about how disappointed she is in them, that they're refusing to honour her wishes, though she's certainly quite a way off dying.
Well, clearly asking my own 2 sons to carry their mother's body is too much to ask.
It is quite a lot to ask.
Unbelievable.
Even with Martin on her side, the boys won't budge. The rest of the day is soured even more than it already was.
Well, you'll carry your mother's body.
Thank you.
Just make sure you wash your hands afterwards.
Number 3, Caravan.
Were you wearing a blindfold when you bought that?
What? Or are you just in a coma, pillock?
Most of the episode is preoccupied with the awful purchase Martin has made, buying a revolting Caravan on the cheap and parking it up in front of the house, all without consulting Jackie, of course. Martin's insistent that they should all eat dinner inside, which Jackie is absolutely refusing to do. The Caravan itself is putrid when he gives the boys a tour, full of ugly upholstery, awful fittings, and a chemical toilet that doesn't work properly. He goes to extreme lengths, stealing the chicken and refusing to hand it over.
Give me back my chicken!
This is ridiculous.
Piss off! How's he got his top off already?
But it turns out it's hard to eat a nice dinner in a caravan that's a major electrical hazard.
And if I press this button...
Number 2, Dead Fox. Martin's got a secret he's keeping from Jackie, but the boys unwittingly stumble across it when she asks them to put some freshly made profiteroles in the freezer.
Leave it! Dad! I said leave it. What is the matter with you?
When they're finally able to see what's inside, Johnny drops the dessert in shock. Martin stashed a fox's corpse in there, in the hope of hiring someone to taxidermy it for him so he can put it on display.
No! Oh, Jesus! Oh, my God!
The profiteroles!
You shitting crap face! What is a fox doing in the freezer? Fox! Just keep your bloody voices down.
The dead fox is a creepy sight, and they go to stranger and stranger lengths to hide it from Jackie throughout the episode, even leaving the carcass to defrost in the dining room for a bit.
I'll see you all.
Jim? You okay, Jim?
Number 1, Wilson's death. Jim's dog Wilson was a fixture of the show from the beginning until its tragic demise in the finale of Series 5.
Jim, I think he's dead.
Distraught over Wilson's loss, despite the fact he was terrified of him, Jim somehow convinces the Goodmans that Wilson deserves a proper burial in their garden.
Here we are.
After they dig the grave, Jim delivers a fittingly bizarre eulogy, even throwing the lead in the grave as well, rather than removing it. On the spot, he comes up with a terrible poem about all the things Wilson loved to do, such as drinking water.
You loved to drink water from your bowl with your tongue until you were full.
But strangest of all is the revelation he's never taken Wilson to a vet in his entire life, which, well, explains a lot.
This cross will stand as a permanent reminder for the whole community.
For our next segment, here comes Derry Girls.
Is he all right?
I wouldn't say so, no. He's a priest, like.
Number 10, Bridie's earrings. Following Aunt Bridie's untimely death in the midst of a family wedding reception, everybody believes Mary laid a curse on her.
Drop dead, you spiteful old hag!
Mary didn't do this. Probably. But they go to the funeral anyway, at which point Mary and Aunt Sarah make a harrowing discovery. It's a traditional open casket funeral, and Bridie is wearing a pair of expensive earrings that belong to their late mother.
They're Mammy's. She's wearing Mammy's earrings. So they are. How did she get them? She probably swooped in like a vulture before Mummy drew her last breath.
They decide they can't let those earrings go 6 feet under and try to steal them back, getting caught in the act by their cousin Eamon, played by guest star Ardal O'Hanlon. And they burn even more bridges in the family.
For God's sake, Mary. First the curse, now this.
You said there was no curse.
I didn't want to make you angry, Mary. I mean, I'm about to bury my mother. A hex is the last thing I need.
Number 9, Mayonnaise. Every week, without fail, the Quinn household gets fish and chips from the best chip shop in Derry. But when looking to get cash from the school trip, Michelle steals the shop's notice board. They're tasked with making it up to the frightening owner by cleaning.
You will never guess what she's done this time, Erin.
Did she nick the notice board from the chip shop, Claire?
Unfortunately, they're not very good at cleaning and accidentally cover the surfaces in mayonnaise and make a huge mess.
Oh, I see. Yeah, this isn't Winderly. This is mayonnaise.
Worse, Michelle inadvertently starts a fire. Mary and Sarah arrive to help them cover up the crime, and they decide to stage a break-in and blame the provost for the damage. Vignola, however, doesn't buy it at all, and they're doomed to weeks of pizza. Number 8, The Child of Prague.
There we are. There's a great fella altogether.
I still don't get what it's supposed to be.
It's Jesus' away.
Why's he got a big red hat on?
Nobody knows.
It's time for Sister Michael to hand over a statue of Jesus called the Child of Prague to another school in Derry's Catholic diocese, though she refuses and the statue remains in her office. Meanwhile, the girls become enamoured with their new, inspiring English teacher, Mr. Brune. Mr. Brune leaves after a few days, but the girls, believing Sister Michael has sacked her, decide to kidnap the Child of Prague and hold him to ransom to bring her back to the school.
Great. I'll write the ransom note.
We need a copy of today's newspaper.
Why?
It's just a dumb thing, kidnapping-wise.
James and Michelle argue and the statue goes on the floor, knocking his head off. Then, of course, Orla glues the head back on, upside down.
To be honest, sister, and I'm not just saying this, I think he looks better.
He looks like his head's on upside down.
Number 7, unaccompanied bag.
What's in the suitcase, Michelle?
Vodka.
You brought an entire suitcase full of vodka.
No. There's mixers as well, not a savage.
More Sister Michael. When the girls sneak away so that they can go to Belfast and see Take That, who else happens to be on the bus with them?
Look, I don't want anyone recognising me, okay?
No one's gonna recognise you, Claire.
Claire Devlin, is that you?
Jesus Christ.
She spots them at the back of the bus, despite Claire's dicey disguise, and starts grilling them about why they're going to Belfast. When she tries to sit down, she encounters the massive red suitcase full of vodka Michelle has brought, which the group promptly deny all knowledge of.
Let me be clear, no one can claim this bag, is that correct? I think we have a code red on our hands. Driver, pull over.
This means they're on a bus in Northern Ireland in the 1990s with a very heavy bag nobody wants to claim, and as such, the British Army gets called in for bomb disposal. Number 6, guess who? The gang is heading to Portrush on the train one weekend when the weather's nice. The kids are in a separate carriage and encounter a frightening man whose bag is swapped with James's bag they later find contains £1,000 in cash, a gun and a balaclava.
This isn't my bag.
Are you sure?
Unless I forgot the fact that I packed a shit ton of cash and a gun.
Elsewhere, Sarah and Mary have run into a woman they know from childhood, but whom they don't remember.
Who was that?
No idea. Don't know her from Adam.
Then why did you pretend that you did?
We could hardly break the girl, Jerry.
They're almost forced to come clean until Mary finally identifies her as Ideen O'Shea, who's actually been in prison for years.
Didn't she get banged up?
Sarah, really?
She's in prison.
She's not anymore. But a 10-year stretch does wonders for the old figure.
It turns out the bag with the gun is hers as well, and that Orla has stolen her crisps, putting her in a rage directed right at James.
Is he pointing at you, son? Oh, God.
Where's my crisps? You owe me a packet of crisps.
Number 5, revision. Once again, Claire proved she was one of the show's most relatable characters, having an absolute meltdown over their chaotic last-minute revision session. Erin's distracted because of the loss of her pet dog Toto, frustrating Claire, who has been downing energy drinks for hours.
I'm sorry, Claire. Has his sudden tragic death interrupted your studies?
Well, has a bit actually, yeah.
When Michelle opens the curtains to reveal it's the morning and the sun is shining, Claire loses it.
Sweet suffering Jesus, it's the morning already! What are we gonna do?
She realises they've barely covered any Irish history, which is James's fault, obviously.
Well, I can't tell my rebellions from my risings.
And whose fault's that? If your lot had stopped invading us for 5 fucking minutes, there'd be a lot less to wade through.
Later in the episode, she even believed she saw a statue of the Virgin Mary smirking because she was so out of it, leading to a ridiculous comedy of errors.
I saw with my own eyes.
So what?
She smirked.
Who? Big M?
Hey?
Number 4, who do you think you are? Derry Girls is no stranger to a musical performance, often bringing in the hits of the time. This episode in Series 3 was no exception. Father Peter organises a Stars in Their Eyes competition, and the girls arrive dressed as the Spice Girls to perform Who Do You Think You Are?
Ginger! Baby! Sporty, scary, and posh! Tonight, Matthew, we're gonna be the Spice Girls!
It features James as a Posh Spice, Erin as Ginger Spice, minus that iconic Union Jack dress, for obvious reasons, with Michelle, Orla and Claire as Scary, Sporty and Baby Spice, respectively.
The race is on to get out of the bottom. The top is high, so your roots are forgotten.
It was a great return to another iconic moment at the talent show, where the others get on stage in solidarity with Orla's step aerobics routine. Number 3, Across the Barricade.
As some of you may know, I took a bit of a sabbatical last year.
Do you mean when you shacked up with a slut hairdresser, but then she dumped you?
Miss Mallon, please. Raise your hand if you want to ask a question.
A retreat is organised by Father Peter to bring the Catholic all-girls school and Protestant all-boys school together, and the first thing they're asked to do is list the things they have in common.
Someone else. A similarity. Yes.
Protestants are British and Catholics are Irish.
So that's actually a difference. Quite a big difference.
All they can think of is a massive list of everything that makes Catholics and Protestants different, much to Father Peter's frustration. The interactions between Sister Michael and the Protestant headmistress were solid gold as well, as they clearly both dislike Father Peter and think that mixing the kids is a waste of time.
Why is everyone so desperate for them to mix? I think we should keep them separate.
I think we should keep them in cages.
But it turns out they all have far more in common than they first realised. Number 2, Claire Comes Out. Given its subject matter, Derry Girls will often bring in far more serious and heartfelt moments. One great scene happened in the Series 1 finale when Claire came out as a lesbian to Erin.
This was written by a girl. A real-life lesbian walks among us.
I don't really believe in lesbians.
This is perfect. We'll just print this. Come on, Erin, you can't do that.
Erin seized control of the school newspaper and has been championing LGBT acceptance in public to boost her popularity. But behind closed doors, she doesn't have a great reaction to Claire.
Erin, it's me. I'm the wee lesbian.
So you are, Claire.
I'm not joking. You're a lesbian.
But thankfully, that quickly changes, and they all make amends when they come to Orla's aid during the talent show.
She might be a dick, but she's my dick. Actually, she's our dick. And all of the days and the nights.
By Series 2, they're all wearing rainbow pins in solidarity with the wee lesbian. Number 1, Sister Declan. One of the first episode's scenes is still one of the greatest of all time. After getting into an argument with a younger student on the school bus, Sister Michael gives the gang detention, overseen by elderly nun Sister Declan.
If anyone deserves to get punished, it should be Michelle.
Well, I think it's safe to say we all just lost a bit of respect for you there, Claire.
Sister Declan takes Erin's diary, Michelle's lipstick, and still refuses to let James go to the loo.
I'm taking my lipstick back.
Michelle, you can't do that. It's stealing. She stole it first. Michelle, don't.
However, she later falls asleep and chaos reigns. James is forced to relieve himself in the classroom, Michelle and Erin take back their possessions, and Orla discovers Sister Declan has actually died.
It's funny how she sleeps with her eyes wide open, have a look.
What?
Sweet suffering Jehovah.
Sister Michael walks in on quite a scene, and the girls are accused of killing a nun.
Did you kill that wee nun, girls?
Of course we didn't. Then why were you pissing on her dead body and making sandwiches?
Think your life is bad? Check out the cringiest moments from Peep Show.
Fine, but sorry, I should be going, because, you know, the world turns on its axis. One man works while another relaxes.
Number 10, Mark smashes a mug.
It's only me, I've got something for you.
Yeah, don't do that, you shouldn't do that.
But I checked, no one was coming.
Jeremy's uncle dies and Mark convinces Sophie to go to the funeral with him. She does, and things seem like they're finally looking up for Mark's budding relationship with her, until they run into each other in the break room later on. She claims they only briefly got together because emotions were running high at the funeral, and Mark doesn't take it well.
Did you want to give me something?
No, it's your pants.
He returns Sophie's undergarments and she leaves, at which point he takes out his frustration by smashing a mug against a wall. Unfortunately for him, Sophie comes back just in time to see this, and they both pretend as if nothing happened. Number 9, Christmas dinner.
Now, where's the cauliflower?
Cauliflower's not traditional, Dad.
Cauliflower is traditional!
Dobby joins the boys on Christmas Day, but unfortunately, Mark's family is also present. Tensions bubble over when Mark's dad loses it over the lack of non-traditional cauliflower, and Dobby comes to Mark's aid. But she gets on the wrong side of Mr. Corrigan in the process, and he insults her in front of the guests.
I notice I'm not saying anything. Still not saying anything? Nothing coming?
Mark's refusal to defend her to his intimidating father while she's actually in the room is another blow to their doomed relationship. Why couldn't he have put the meat and gravy in the shredder before she left?
What the hell do you think you're doing?
I thought you liked your ham shredded.
Mark!
Sitting through awkward meals is something most people can relate to, which is what makes this scene so painful. Number 8, Mark gets engaged.
What happened?
Well, I sort of slipped into a kind of mini ravine, and there was... I angered a crow.
By series 3, Mark's finally got Sophie. Only by the series finale, he decides he doesn't want her anymore after all. He spends a night lost in the Quantux, and in between fighting off angry birds, does a lot of soul searching to come to this conclusion.
And I accidentally found something round and engagement-y.
Oh, right.
Shit! God, I've not got it wrong, have I? You were going to...
Oh, yeah, no.
Sadly, Jez managed to find his way back to the hotel with Mark's fleece. In the pocket, Sophie discovers the engagement ring, after Mark decided not to go through with his proposal. She accepts without him even asking, and the entirety of Series 4 is spent dealing with the fact Mark's now getting married out of sheer embarrassment.
Jez, they're gonna get married!
No, they're not.
Yes, we are.
Number 7, Rainbow Rhythms.
This looks... cool.
Sophie invites Mark along to a fitness class which he incorrectly believes is salsa dancing. In actuality, it's Rainbow Rhythms, a new age hippie fest Mark despises. But he weathers the embarrassment so he can have a chance with Sophie, even if his energy turns out to be so not Rainbow Rhythms.
I'm not really here, it's research. I'm Louis Theroux.
He finally tries to embrace this way of thinking and unleashes his inner rainbow, only this involves him jumping up and down and flailing his arms wildly. Even Sophie's a little put off by just how into it Mark seems to be, even if his voiceover betrays that he doesn't feel a thing.
She's buying it. God, it's so easy being a freak. No wonder they're 10 a penny.
Number 6, the stationery cupboard.
Hi, Mark. Nice to see you.
Dobby, likewise.
Mark's just jilted Sophie at the altar, if you believe her side of things, and there's a war in the office, with most people siding with Sophie. The only one who doesn't is Dobby, who first appears in this episode as she offers Mark some of her personal cheese. If that wasn't weird enough, things escalate when he runs into her in the stationery cupboard, and the viewers are forced to endure a highly inappropriate public display of affection.
You'll have to move.
Yeah, I should move, but I might not move.
For the duration, we have to watch Mark and Dobby staring at each other in the mirror, in one of the most notorious scenes of the whole show.
Post-its.
Bye.
Number 5, Child Protection Register.
That was probably one of the best days of my life.
What, really?
Mark heads to a club to attend his school reunion with the aim of rekindling what small spark he had with his high school crush, Sally Slater. He tries to break the ice with a few jokes, but since this is Mark, none of them land, mostly because he won't stop kidding about being a sex offender.
So, have you got kids?
Not yet. Why?
Oh, no reason. I mean, I love kids. Not in a bad way, in a nice way. I mean, I'm not on the child protection register. Yet.
It's a solid example of exactly what you should not say when flirting. And to add insult to injury, Sally's husband, Foz, Mark's school bully, is also there to bear witness to Mark committing social suicide.
This is going horribly. Need a joke. Either that or I'm an incredibly hard to detect pedo.
Number 4. Is that normal pooing?
Give me a piece of the action. Johnson?
When gastric flu does the rounds at JLB, Mark is enlisted to replace a sick colleague on a work trip with Johnson. Only Mark gets sick as well. This isn't helped by the fact Jeremy decides to hold a party in the flat and locks Mark in his bedroom, so he doesn't kill the vibe with his illness. Johnson shows up to rescue Mark, and Mark heads straight for the loo.
Is that normal pooing you're doing?
Unfortunately, the bathroom door was removed earlier in the episode, meaning all the guests gather in the doorway to witness Mark relieving himself. As if that wasn't enough, he gets written off by Johnson and Jez's party is ruined.
Just stay in that room. Stay in the nice room.
It's so disgusting. I'm going to be sick.
Number 3, voicemail.
So do you think I should give her a call? I probably should, shouldn't I? Oh, I really don't know if I should.
Well, maybe you should.
In an attempt to win her over, Mark makes good use of Sophie's phone number, which she gave him earlier in the episode. All he had to do was ask. He calls her and gets her voicemail, but rather than hang up and try again later, he leaves an excruciating message.
Sophie, if you heard that, please ignore it. I'm not a racist. Far from it.
It starts off bad and only gets worse, as he immediately has to clarify he's not a racist because of something Jez said in the background.
Then I go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like, I like you.
He ends it all by poorly singing the chorus of Something Stupid, a song that's been stuck in his head for the entire day, for hanging up in shame. Number 2, Mummy.
He's brought a dead dog into my pitch, the stupid bastard!
On Mark's stag do, he and Jez hire a narrowboat and head out to explore Britain's waterways. Things take a turn for the worse when Jez accidentally runs over and kills the dog, called Mummy, of a girl he's interested in, while Mark's trying to land a job with her dad. They try to burn the dog but end up cooking it instead, and Jez brings the remains onto the boat with them when Mark's about to close on the job offer.
What's going on, Jeremy?
Nothing. This is turkey. Look.
In an effort to prove that the meat is turkey and not their beloved pet, Jez takes a bite. Then the collar is discovered and the truth becomes clear.
They ate Mummy! They burnt Mummy and killed her and ate her!
Number 1, Mark's wedding.
What am I going to do? What's going to happen here? Because, personally, I have no idea.
I really need to get to a urinal, Mark.
The day finally arrives. Mark has to either admit he never wanted to marry Sophie and doesn't really love her, or he has to bite the bullet and tie the knot. At the last minute, he runs off and hides in the balconies of the church with Jez, who desperately needs the toilet.
When are you going to stop?
Not for a bit.
Stop, Jeremy. Stop it. It's going down the cracks.
I can't stop. Stop. Oh, piss yourself. Stop pissing yourself. It's not that simple.
Jez's needs get the better of him, and he ends up weeing himself per Mark's orders. But he trips down through the floor and onto the wedding guests below.
Surprise! Hello, it's me. Look, I've surprised you. What a brilliant joke.
Ultimately, Mark's forced to go through with the day. The ceremony ends in tears, and as he and Sophie drive away, she decides she wants an annulment and leaves him to Jez.
Whatever! Divorce annulled! I can't... This isn't what I want!
Finally, here's the funniest moments from this underrated show. Fresh meat.
Great work with the glass village. All pillage, no spillage.
Sorry, I don't speak posh.
Well, welcome to your first Bantinatal class.
Number 10, Cliff.
We can't catch you, we'll break our arms.
Yeah, well, if I fall, I'll break everything.
JP's been in a strange mood all day and has been talking about his sex life far more than usual. Kingsley wants to get to the bottom of this, but before he can, JP gets stuck on a cliff face after trying to scale it while on a geography trip. It turns out that Kingsley's unusual girlfriend Heather walked in on JP in the shower and saw far more than she should have, even making some off-color comments.
Are you saying my girlfriend went out of her way to deliberately eye up your naked genitals.
Yes, and she liked it.
Then, just as Kingsley wants to bury the hatchet, JP takes it upon himself to first urinate on Kingsley from his perch, and then let go of the cliff and land on top of him, nearly breaking his leg.
I'm sorry, over it.
Number 9, Implodium implodes. Series 2 sees Kingsley come into his own as an extremely pretentious musician, and he spends many episodes working on his magnum opus, the overly long and not remotely catchy song, Implodium Implodes.
This is the Implodium Implodes.
One of the show's most iconic scenes is when Heather signs him up for an open mic night at the student bar. He puts on a bizarre performance where he repeatedly jerks his neck, much to the confusion of his housemates watching.
Making me feel older, destiny.
Kingsley's neck becomes a running joke for the rest of the episode. Funnier yet is the fake music video Charlotte Ritchie and Joe Thomas made to be uploaded online by Channel 4, which manages to emulate the homemade student film vibe very well. Number 8, Timothy buys from Vod.
Why are you even bothered? I'm not.
Strapped for cash and worried about him mounting debts, Vod decides to embark on a new career path. She's gonna become a drug dealer with pharmaceuticals manufactured by none other than Sabine, who, though she hates most of them, is studying for a PhD in pharmacology. Vod's concerned about the pill's safety after she sells it to JP's older brother, Timothy.
Truth is, I sold your saxophone a dodgy pill and I'm worried he's gonna die.
What?
What? It's probably fine.
Timothy's also trying to cheat on his wife with Oregon, which leads to both JP and Vod spying on them. JP wants to protect Timothy's wife, while Vod doesn't want him to have a bad reaction to her untested product.
If you have hurt this, you could knock a percentile off the GDP.
She's called Booper. I might need to be copped at south.
Number 7, Giles.
There are things that I must teach you if you are to succeed here in the land of the £2 pint.
The cheat codes for north of Hendon.
JP's old school friend Giles arrives in Manchester, and JP takes it upon himself to be Giles's guide to the strange customs of people living in the north of England. While touring a budget supermarket, JP goes through all the northern slang he has in his repertoire and, upon leaving, copies a Manc accent to try and get a random bloke to drive them back to the house so they don't have to call an actual cab.
They're all cabbies in the north, Giles, for a price.
Giles is only really in this episode, but he provided many more great moments, like arriving at the pub wearing a toga and chanting as JP tries to explain to the housemates that Giles isn't that posh.
The thing about Giles is that he's not even that posh.
Penis! Toga, toga, toga.
Number 6, Buffet.
Since we're here, we may as well eat all we can.
No. First, we talk tactics.
Josie's organising a blind date event for charity. While it turns out the person she gets matched with has unfortunately passed away, Vod ends up getting paired with none other than Howard. She and Howard arrive at a Chinese buffet and realise they're each other's dates.
Remember, the aim here is not simply to have a satisfying meal out. The ultimate aim is to beat the buffet.
It then takes her through his elaborate plan to steal as much food from the buffet as possible, even bringing with him a prepared bag to take food home with them. But Howard isn't as smooth as he's making out. A waiter has been watching him the whole time and forces him to give up his treasure as they leave the restaurant.
Bring out the transporter.
What?
Number 5, Oregon's Play. In Series 3, Oregon wants to start a new creative career and become a playwright.
Past this wall, door. Past this door. Beyond this road.
Street. But road is fine.
She takes part in the 24-hour play, a well-known endeavour to write and stage a play in one day, and throws together a drama that draws a little too much from her personal life. Though the play itself is hilariously cringe, the rehearsals are the real comedy goldmine, as Vod arrives to offer her opinion on Oregon's interpretations of their life.
We had to kill her by O.P. Shawcross.
I've written a play.
Oh, brilliant, 'cause that's exactly what the world needs, innit? More plays.
The plot of the play is that Hilda, who's supposed to be Vod, is evil and is ultimately murdered by Delphine, the stand-in for Oregon. In the end, though Vod does try to help her, the play becomes the worst reviewed in the university's history. Number 4, Dylan finds out the truth. The first series focuses a lot on Oregon's illicit relationship with her married professor, Tony Shells. Before the end of the series, Tony's wife Jean, also a professor at Medlock, finds out about the affair.
Jean is about to tell Dylan about us. Now. Right now.
Oh, shit.
Here's what I'm thinking. We let Jean tell Dylan, then we deny everything. Then we say that Jean's mad.
But when you think it's all over, by the 3rd season, Oregon meets dashing librarian Dylan, who just so happens to be Tony and Jean's son. Jean threatens to tell Dylan about Tony and Oregon's affair, while Oregon and Tony both want to deny it. But it's when they're making their chaotic plan to discredit Jean that Dylan walks in and hears the whole story.
We must never ever admit to anyone that we slept together.
What?
He has a total breakdown, while Tony has his academic career ruined because he took advice from Vod.
Actually, I've thought about it again and it's too weird. You f***ed my dad.
Number 3, Josie and Heather.
Oh, hi Heather. Hi Josie. Nice to see you.
Yes.
And you.
Yes.
Kingsley's under the false impression that he's broken up with Heather the previous term, but unfortunately for him, Heather has other ideas. He's finally gotten together with Josie by this point, but feels trapped in his relationship with Heather because it turns out her grandfather is terminally ill. He ends up two-timing them both with each other, and there are a number of comedic close calls. While in the supermarket with Heather, he gets a call from Josie and has to pretend to both of them that it's JP.
I don't think I can be in a relationship right now.
Oh, that is so bloody typical.
Later, after Vod's wedding, Josie and Heather encounter each other right as Heather is dumping him. Number 2, Oregon gets ousted.
We have no confidence in you.
She won the election to be president of the student union in Series 3, but immediately discovers that the union is in tremendous debt. The next series is Oregon desperately trying to balance the books while also blowing thousands on a ridiculous poetry prize and cutting funding for sports teams.
Okay, if I could deal specifically with the turbot. Let's get straight into this, shall we?
Eventually, protests mount, and a vote of no confidence is called. After being given a disastrous new haircut by Vod, Oregon arrives to defend herself against the vote of no confidence, but instead of coming up with a salient point, she has a nervous breakdown and breaks out into song instead.
Let them bring on all their problems. I'll do better than my best. I have confidence you'll put me to the test, but I'll make you see I have confidence in me. Come on, everybody.
Number 1, Fancy Dress. It's the 2nd season climax, and 3 different parties are being held in the house at once. A political gathering for Oregon, and 2 separate birthday parties for Howard, one of which is Fancy Dress.
Oh, God.
Oh, what? Come on.
Because it's Howard's party, everyone has come as something beginning with H. JP, being relentlessly posh, takes it upon himself to dress up as Hitler, or alternatively as Prince Harry when he infamously wore a swastika at a party in 2005.
Why would you want to dress up like a Nazi?
It's funny. Hitler's funny, isn't he?
Oregon arriving and being absolutely outraged at JP's costume makes the scene. His next look isn't any less iconic either. He enlists some well-placed fruit and dresses up as a Hooters waitress.
Right, everybody out! Come on, all of you, out!
What's your favourite modern British comedy? Let us know in those comments below.
Why is he making that funny noise? He's English, Ola. That's the way they talk.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.